Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining in. This is Jyoti here, welcoming you all to today's webinar. This is second of our episode of series of webinar for On Campus. Today we will be talking about University of Southampton. And to do that, we have our two lovely guests with us. We have Pranishti Seth. She is a recruitment advisor, University of Southampton. And then we have Pranesh Kumar Sinha, a very familiar name. We have all seen you in all of our webinars. Uh, he is South Asia Manager on campus, and we will be having a question and answer round at the end of the session. If you guys have any questions, any queries related to University of Southampton, we will be happy to answer all of your questions. Before we start our presentation today, I'd like to play a video for University of Southampton to give you a brief about what is University of Southampton is all about. Let me know if you all can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. I guess there is, yeah.
Here at On Campus Southampton. I'm really pleased to hear that you're thinking about joining us here at On Campus and studying a degree at the top-ranked University of Southampton. We're based here in the heart of Southampton, on the corner of three beautiful parks and next to some of the best shopping, food and entertainment the city has to offer. From your very first day, you'll have access to most of the university's facilities, with the Highfield campus just a few minutes away on public transport. Southampton is also ranked one of the UK's friendliest cities, giving you the chance to make friends from all over the world. We also have the benefit of being based in the south of England, with some of England's most beautiful beaches, and with New Forest right on your doorstep. Southampton is well placed to visit the lively cities of Bournemouth, Portsmouth and Brighton, and still only 90 minutes by train from London. I imagine you've got lots of questions about coming to On Campus, and I would urge you to contact one of our On Campus representatives for more information, or go to our website, oncampus.global. From the moment you leave home until the time you leave us, we'll be with you every step of the way. On behalf of all the team here, we're looking forward to welcoming you to On Campus Southampton very soon.
Okay, so that was a lovely video. So we will start now, Pranesh, with the presentations.
Yes, please. And I would like Panishti to take over and give us a presentation
Yeah,
on Mr. Southampton, please.
yes, for sure. First of all, thank you so much, Jyoti, to introduce me in such a lovely way. Thank you, Pranesh, for that wonderful video for on campus Southampton. That is really a very fresh perspective, I think, for students as well, hoping to, study with us face to face. So I think that gives you an idea, guys, what you can expect studying with on campus Southampton for the coming intake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a presentation with you briefly and talk a little bit more, expand more on the video that you just saw, and tell you a little bit more about Southampton. So if somebody can just confirm if they can see my presentation, because I'll lose visuals soon.
We can.
We can see that.
Okay, great. Just a second. All right. So, again, just to introduce myself, my name is Panishti Seth. I'm one of the country development managers for University of Southampton in India. So there are three people in our team, and I'll talk a little bit more about them at the end of the presentation. A little bit again, as I mentioned about the university, we are a highly ranked institution not only in the United Kingdom but also in the world. Currently, we stand 77th. Apart from this, not only is our overall ranking really high, but when it comes to subjects related to engineering, IT, quite a few business programs, etc., We do rank among the top universities worldwide. Currently, we are a leading institution in engineering and IT-related programs. Apart from all of our rankings, we are also a research-intensive university, considering we are part of the prestigious Russell Group of universities in the United Kingdom. So when you consider studying with us, not only are you getting a reputed degree or a reputed institution, but you're also getting quality in education, which helps you build the necessary skills, knowledge base, your interpersonal skills as well that you would need to be a desirable candidate when it comes to job prospects. Now, a little bit about our city as well. So as mentioned in the video, we are a very lively city. We are in a very geographically conducive environment because as you can see on the map, we are on the southern coast of England. So even our winters are not as cold as it would be up north. Our summers are mostly pleasant. And also we are very close by to major cities in England. London is about an hour away by road, or 190 minutes by train, etc. Also, for somebody who has just coming to UK for the first time, coming to Southampton is a good idea for you in terms of it's a very friendly city. It is a very accepting city, etc. You get the feeling of a close-knit community, especially with your peers, with your faculty members, with other people you interact with. But at the same time, you have the benefits of an industrially developed city as well. So if you're looking for good employment opportunities, some kind of opportunities to just say improve your skill set, etc., then this would be a very good place to be. So it's best of both worlds at Southampton. And it is definitely something that students feel more accommodated with when they come for the first time to the United Kingdom. Now, a little bit about our campus. So we are a university city. Our campuses are spread across the city of Southampton, except that we have an extension of our engineering department within Malaysia. And we have our Winchester School of Arts, which is in a town called Winchester, just outside Southampton. Now, we offer quite a few courses. We offer over 350 courses across 5 faculties, as shown on the screen. A lot for Indian students, particularly IT-related courses like data science, computer science, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence is something that we see a very keen interest in. We also see students interested in civil engineering. So we rank 4th in UK when it comes to civil engineering. Marine engineering is one of the niche courses that we provide. We are also leading experts in maritime-related courses. So a lot of these job prospect, career prospect-wise leading courses is what we provide at Southampton. Also, our business schools are highly accredited as well through UK accredited UK bodies as well as international bodies. We also have UK accreditations for our courses across all 5 faculties. So that is another point that I need to add in terms of what is the quality of education that you would be getting when you study with Southampton. Now, just not to look too much into this, this is a general requirements. Now, we do have high requirements for some of our courses, which is why we have partnered with On Campus to help you in terms of getting in when certain times you might lack in certain requirements across our courses. Same here for a postgraduate requirements. Now, I'm sure my colleague Kenneth will speak a little bit more about on-campus requirements later on, but it's just to give you a general idea about it. Again, we offer foundation programs as well as pre-master programs with on-campus, so that if whichever subject it might be, we could probably find a suitable pathway for you. A little bit about what is a year in industry. So if you look at undergraduate programs in University of Southampton, then we offer something known as industry placement as well for 1 year. What it means is that as a part of your bachelor's, you would be having some kind of professional experience, if that is what you choose, at one of our industry tie-ups, and you would be gaining hands-on experience which is something that could benefit you ultimately after you graduate and go to look for jobs. We have a very good careers department that I will talk a little bit about it in the next slide, but they help you in getting resources, in developing your profile, your CV, etc., in order to be eligible, or say in order to be proactive in terms of applying to these placements. It's a paid placement most of the time. So not only are you developing your skill set professionally, you're also getting paid for it. Even, although you are still enrolled at university, that means you're still going to report to your supervisor assigned to you at university, etc., which is why we do charge tuition fees, but it would be at a reduced rate of about 80% reduction. Now coming, so you can see the statistics for our employability sector on the screen itself, but talking a little bit more about how students reach this stage. How do students contribute to the economy in a way that they represent Southampton in these rankings? The reason for that is that we have a really good careers and employment team. We have a dedicated careers team for our IT and engineering courses. So we have resources in place in terms of our careers team, but also in terms of job fairs, also in terms of networking opportunities given to you by visiting faculty at university, etc., who talk to you about their own experiences, their own success stories, and how you could possibly be the next in line when it comes to being an industry leader. So this is the kind of exposure that you get at university is something that is going to help you build yourself up to be eligible or a desirable candidate when you graduate, whether it be from a bachelor's or a master's program. So talking a little bit more about our fees, this again is an approximate fees of our undergraduate and postgraduate courses. We generally have a fee range of about 19,000 to 25,000 pounds for our undergraduate programs. Medicine is a little bit competitive, so the fee, because it's a clinical year as well in your third, fourth, and fifth, so the fees are slightly higher. For our postgraduate courses, again, talking about our IT and engineering programs, as mentioned before, are really popular, so the fees are on the higher end. But we do offer other programs on a lower fee structure. Obviously, you can check out the individual fee structure on our website and get more information on the courses apart from fees as well. Now, scholarships, I would say we offer quite a few for our undergraduate. So all of our scholarships are mainly merit-based. That means that if you rank higher compared to your peers who have put in an application to us, you would be automatically selected for the scholarship. At the undergraduate level, we provide up to £3,000 up for a eligible student. For our postgraduate programs, it's the same, but except like in our business school programs, we offer scholarships up to £5,000. Our MBA programs is about £9,000 scholarship for eligible candidates. We have some good news in terms of we have collaborated with British Council, and we now have great scholarships as well. We have 4 departments that would be giving out these scholarships, one in our law school, one in our medicine program, one in our arts program, and one in our humanities program. Also one in our engineering program, which is yet to be announced. So I would stay tuned for that to see what more can we come up with. Also, scholarships is an ongoing discussion, so we might have a few more for the next intake. Now, we've already spoken a little bit about the university. We've spoken a little bit about the courses that we offer. Now, a little bit about what services, apart from academics, can you expect at the university. We have a completely virtual environment in terms of your studying and learning. So if you are somewhere remote, in terms of COVID, we've seen an increase in students not having access to their study material once they went back home, etc., and everything. So now we have a virtual environment in which from wherever you can access your information, your schedule, your lectures, your study material, your assignments, submissions, etc., to a centralized system. We also provide assistance in terms of remedial modules, or if you need extra learning, you need extra assistance, say with your English, say with foundations of certain subjects that you've not touched base with before in your bachelor's, then that is something that you can very easily work out with your professors and try to get some help with. You can have one-on-one sessions with your professors. You will be assigned a personal tutor at university who would discuss with you any issues, be it financial, be it personal, be it academic, whatever it might be. At the same time, we also have a student union center in which you will have peers with your similar mindsets. There would be so many activities to do at university. There are over 300 clubs at university. So there is something for anyone with any kind of hobbies or interests, which we should definitely check out, because being in a foreign country, and especially if it's your first time, it sometimes becomes difficult to cope, and you might feel homesick. So being a part of these extracurricular activities is something that can give you a kind of camaraderie with your fellow peers, and help you get out of your bubble and interact with a diverse set of people. At the same time, if you're feeling low, if you're having any kind of mental health issues, if you don't feel you're able to you are able to study well or focus on your studies, etc., we have a student well-being center, and it is free of charge. You can go and speak to them, have a session, see whether you need further sessions with them, and talk very openly about your situation is without judgment. So just because you're coming to a foreign country, you're coming to the university, does not mean that that is it and you won't be given any kind of further assistance. You would be helped at every stage of your studies, your course, and also till the time, even career services will be in touch with you till the time you are able to get a job in hand. So just a little bit about what we are doing in terms of COVID preparedness. So we have started face-to-face teaching for most of our subjects, as mentioned on the website, as mentioned on the slide before you. Our MBA programs were already started face-to-face in April itself. We have started face-to-face teaching for smaller group subject courses or lab courses, lab-related courses, as well as group discussions, one-on-one sessions with professors, and everything is happening in person, except for large lecture halls, which might include, say, if a module includes students from 2 different courses. Then in that sense, then they would do it virtually in order to maintain a safe social distancing measures and things like that. Not to, again, because we do have face-to-face teaching going on, not to say that we don't have preparedness in place in terms of sanitization, in terms of strictly following social distancing, as well as wearing your mask, etc. So those things are taken into account strictly at the university in order to keep our students safe. Now, for our postgraduate accommodation, postgraduate students, our accommodations are offered at a reduced price, at the price of 46 weeks instead of 51. So also our accommodations for UG and PG students are guaranteed if you apply to us by the 1st of August. So that is something as well that can give you a kind of a safety net if you are not aware of, where to stay in UK, etc. Obviously, staying on campus can give you a little security in the beginning, and then after on, obviously, it's your choice once you get to know the city a little better. A little bit further about our accommodations. So over here is a picture about how generally accommodations look like. This is a shared kitchen here where you'll be sharing it with your flatmates. This is an ensuite room where you have your washroom, your study desk, your bed, etc. with you. Our accommodations do start at about £120 a week. It can go higher as well. If you take into consideration things like your daily expenses, your rent, etc., then you are looking at about £800 to £1,000 a month. If you stay with us at Southampton, these are again few examples of our accommodations. Some of them are newly built, some of them are older ones, which are popular with Indian students, just to give you an idea about what we have to offer. Now, again, just to end the slide with a little bit about what you can do. Within the city of Southampton, there is a little bit for people with varied interests. If you're a sports fan, at university, in fact, we have about 90 sports clubs. A lot of them play at national levels. If you are somebody who is into sports, etc., you could be a part of one of our clubs. We have a cricket ground, we have a football stadium. We have a little bit of a countryside view as well. So if that is something that you're interested in experiencing, you can see this lone pony here, just waiting for you to come and have a chat with them, have a stroll through the road here. We also have a lot of cultural activities, etc., taking place within the city center, within the city, etc. So you can experience different cultures as well, not only the UK environment. And it also, we have realized it also helps students be more open-minded towards other cultures and be, global entrepreneurs or global citizens in general. We also have an ice skating rink. We have a big shopping complex. Again, over here, you can see that we have a beautiful, beautiful beachfront with clear waters. Over here, you can see our ports. Southampton is also a very important international port for United Kingdom. So that is definitely something history-wise as well. We have quite a few things to offer for our history buffs. So that's it mainly, guys. I think this is enough information for you to get you started on a journey of knowing Southampton a little bit as well as the university. As I mentioned before, there are 3 of us in the India team. So we have Donna, who is the regional director for South Asia, as well as there's Akshi and myself, and we are both the country development managers for India. Akshi is based out of Delhi and I'm based out of Mumbai, but you can take down our details and get in touch with us whenever you like. There is no such exception that you can only contact either of us. You can get in touch with any one of us. You can get in touch with Pranesh as well, who's my partner from On Campus, who can help you with that and like on-campus related queries. So, yep, and then I can take your questions in the Q&A session after Pranesh is done with his presentation.
Panishti, we will have questions at the end of the session, and we will now continue with Pranesh now.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you so much.
For that great presentation on a great university. I'm going to take it further and explain you things on campus, Southampton, and how does this partnership, how is this partnership important to us, and how is this partnership important to our students. Many things have already been highlighted by Panishti, and I hope you can see my screen at the moment.
Yes, Panish.
Yes, it's visible.
Thanks for confirming. And yes, a top university, founding member to the Russell Group, top 77 in the world. There are many accolades to this great university. And obviously, when you plan to study with a top-end university like University of Southampton, you need to have certain academic grades and English level to join such a great university. The conceptual understanding has to be very clear to the listeners. How does on-campus help students to get into the University of Southampton? It's a recent partnership. It's a great partnership. We have already been, witnessing quite an interest coming from our regions. Now, take a typical example that my ex-student and I wish to study at this great university, which is University of Southampton. Somehow, I am not meeting the academic or English requirements of the university. Does that actually mean that my dream to study at this university would crash? No, that's not the point. You could still study at this great university, because what we do as a partner to University of Southampton is that we prepare students and we ensure that they go up to a mark, they reach a level where they qualify to study bachelor's and master's at University of Southampton. So we are preparing students through our foundations, one leading to bachelor's and two pre-masters leading to masters. This understanding from viewers is really important. That if I am a student planning to study at this university, unfortunately, if I'm not meeting the English requirements or the academic requirements, I can still make it to this university by studying foundations and pre-masters at on-campus Southampton. This is how on-campus basically works. As I just highlighted, that I might not have the right grades or English. How is on-campus going to assist these students? Obviously, we are going to work a lot on the academic English of the student, and it goes without saying, if you plan to study at a UK university, you need to have that appropriate English at the university level, and specifically with a university like University of Southampton, where you meet students, top students coming from across the world. Second is obviously academics. If you have somehow fallen short of meeting the academic requirements at University of Southampton, come study with us because we offer different pathways like a business, engineering, humanities, art, design. You would be taught modules as per the pathway that you would study with great support on English. And then obviously at last, it's our expert guidance that will take you through to the University of Southampton. So you progress as a student to the University of Southampton at the end. Importantly, student can ask that what could I potentially study at on-campus Southampton that could help me to get into University of Southampton. So we offer different pathways. The pathways are as such: business, humanities, art and design, engineering and physical sciences, and life sciences. Now, just to have a typical understanding of it, so if I'm studying a business, economics, finance, and management pathway, that opens up my area to get into number of universities, to a number of degrees at the University of Southampton. Obviously, a student would be well planned which degree he or she plans to study, and we teach them that pathway. We teach them the academic modules under that pathway, and then the student is able to find a place studying at the University of Southampton, the degree that he picked up for himself or herself. Similar is humanities and social sciences, art and design, engineering and physical sciences, and life sciences. We're quite excited about engineering and physical sciences because that's one area where a lot of India students join at University of Southampton. And engineering and physical sciences first intake would be the September 2022. Other than that, we have the January intakes for all other pathways that you could see over here. And how can I leave behind the art and design? The Winchester School of Arts among the top 20 in the UK. So if you have an inclination to do an art and design program with a top university like University of Southampton, we also have art and design pathway where you can come and study with us and get progress to some programs like fashion design, fashion marketing and management, fine arts, game design, and art. So we have solutions basically to maximum number of degrees at University of Southampton. So study that particular pathway and then progress to the degree of your choice. Similarly is programs which are MFP. So a bachelor student also has different options. So the first one that you saw was undergraduate foundation program taken up by class 11th and 12th students from India. MFP in short means pre-masters leading to masters, and obviously for pre-master a student needs to be a graduate from India, and then that student also has a number of options to get into the University of Southampton, typically business, engineering, humanities, life sciences, art and design. There are certain guidelines that needs to be at the back of the mind when you plan to study at on-campus Southampton leading to University of Southampton, is that a student could ask, if I plan to do a foundation at on campus that leads to University of Southampton, what is the minimum qualification that I should have as a class 11th or 12th student? So one is, I'll definitely take you through the academic requirements, but one thing that needs to be understood with clarity is that we can take students after 11th and 12th into our foundations leading to bachelor's. One thing for business pathway, really important, is that a student in class 10 should have 80% at math. This is a prerequisite, please. No portfolio required for art and design, so that's an easy entry into the foundation, but portfolio assessments for progressions and prime music exams for music related degrees. So till the time the student completes foundation, their work will be assessed, their portfolio work will be assessed by the university before they get into the degree. Similarly, for a bachelor student planning to do a master's, we need students to have at least second division. Yes, a third class from a university like Delhi could be accepted because it's a top class university and is considered as a top class university around the world. But to remain on the same platform, we need around 50%. That's the minimum that we need for students to start pre-masters. Many master's degree require a cognate first degree, which means that a student who's picking up a master's degree for himself or herself through pre-masters should have a similar background, interview, and a portfolio required for progressions for some master's degree. So these are basic guidelines. Intakes and English entry requirements, really important. And you could think that if I plan to study at on-campus Southampton that leads to University of Southampton, what important intakes do we have? So there are two important intakes. One is September and the other is January. Obviously, we also have a mid intake in November that starts the 1st of November. However, as I just said, September and January are the major intakes. And students who plan to start UFP foundations, they have their 3 terms foundation starting. Typically 3 terms means 9 months, and that's the standard tenure of a foundation program. And we also have pre-masters starting in January. The flexibility is that pre-masters could be 9 months or 6 months. So that's the intake information. Importantly, I would like to reinstate that students often ask what kind of English proficiency do they basically need to get into foundations or pre-masters. So one thing is that in terms of how proficient you are, you need to do IELTS UKVI with us. And I do not need the viewers to get confused with IELTS. The IELTS UKVI is a typical exam that's being taken for students to start foundation courses. So it's usually known as the UKVI IELTS for academic purposes. And for a typical 3 terms, what we need is 5 with no elements less than 5 for foundations, and 2 terms at pre-masters would need 5.5 with no elements less than 5.5, and 3 terms would need 5 with no elements less than 5. I repeat once again, English is really important. A student needs to appear for a test, which is usually known as the SELT, the Secure English Language Test, and they could either do UKVI IELTS or a PT academic UKVI. Academic requirements for India, I'm just going to touch upon India right now. So for foundations, we need students 11 70% and class 12 65%. And I said one important point on the earlier slide. If a student is applying at business pathway, foundations business pathway needs to have 80% in math. Master's foundation program, bachelor's degree with at least a 2nd class or pass class from elite universities. That's the fees and the term dates. Obviously September gone, November looks good. We still have time. It starts on the 1st of September. It's a 3.5 terms, a 10 months foundation. But what we are going to do is that we are going to offer that foundation exactly at the same price of what you can see as January starts. So there would be a waiver of almost £2,000 over here. And then yes, students who would start in November or January, irrespective, they would progress to the September 2022 University of Southampton programs. MFP fees, again, there is a November start and then there is January and April, and you can find some differences in the fee, April being the lowest because that's only 2 terms, 6 months, and 3 terms would typically would be £21,195. And as I explained, students would progress to the September intake at University of Southampton. We have great bursaries. Honestly, I mean, we have great bursaries up to £4,000 for any pathways that you're applying at on-campus Southampton. So just deduct straight £4,000 from the main course fee. So that gives a lot of respite to our students. This is the new on-campus center in Southampton, the Imperial House. This is typically where foundation and pre-master students would study with the dream of getting, transferred to University of Southampton for the main programs. It's under 20 minutes from US, and the best thing is that the Imperial House is really near to the accommodations. 1 to 5 minutes walk from accommodation where our students can stay, because when you start with your foundations and pre-masters, you definitely need a comfortable stay to have. Burnswick Apartments, London Road, we have our own accommodation, private accommodation facilities, and you can see what the cost is, which is obviously lower as compared to some destinations like London. And importantly, anybody applying from India should not have more than 3 years of gap. So anyone applying for foundations and pre-masters from the region, which is India, should have passed out in the year 2018. This is an important compliance point, and that's one of the reasons I've included this on the slide. And yeah, that's it from my end. But one thing I would like to say is to all the viewers is, if you have this dream, we wish that you have the right set of entry requirements and English requirements to make it to this top-end university. But if you don't have, please don't stop yourself. We are there to support you. Study foundations pre-masters with us and go to University of Southampton. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the presentation. And now we will move to taking questions. So I'll read it one by one. So, is Duolingo accepted?
All right, so is this, I'll start with Southampton. We were accepting it until 2021 intake, but as of now, we have not been given a heads up if we are going to accept it for 22. So I think Pranesh has made a very good point emphasizing on English language test. So IELTS is something that you'll be safe with. So always go for IELTS. It's always a good idea to take IELTS.
Okay, the next, yeah,
Yes.
Pranesh.
Thanks, Jyoti, for this question. Important question. Many viewers ask for Duolingo. Now, we do not accept Duolingo, and I need to state the exact reason why. I just said a few minutes back that we are foundation providers. It's not our requirement, but it's the UKVI requirements that students who plan to do foundations need to have the SELT, the Secure English Language Test, and the Secure English Language Test. More popular Secure English Language Test in India are IELTS UKVI academics and the PT academic UKVI. So Panishti is correct in her thing that for students to get into University of Southampton, they can do standard IELTS, standard PTs, but for us, students need to do IELTS UKVI or the PT academic UKVI. Sorry to disappoint the guest, but we don't accept the Duolingo at the moment.
Okay. So next question is the university accepting Punjab and Haryana students?
We do accept students from Punjab and Haryana. That's not a problem, but your entry requirements would be on the higher end. So where we require, say, 60 to 65% from a tier 1 university in India, which could be Delhi University, Mumbai University, West Bengal, etc. In that terms, we would then require students to have at least 75 to 80% from Punjab board. For Haryana would be again around 70-75%.
Okay.
And from on-campus point of view, we are in accepting students from Punjab and Haryana just at the moment, but I can't give a reassurance on this, but maybe soon the internal compliance might look into it and we they start, recruiting students from Punjab and Haryana. But at the moment, yes, it has been put on a hold, and I just need to make it very clear: it's just a temporary suspension, please, not a permanent one.
Okay. So next is how many intakes are there?
Okay, for Southampton, we only offer one intake, which would be autumn that of every year, that is September, month of September or October.
And with
Okay.
and with us, it's September, which is the main intake. Then we have a November intake that starts the 1st of November. And then we also have a January intake that starts usually on the 6th of January. So typically 3 intakes with us for OC Southampton, leading to University of Southampton.
Okay. So the next is there is any early bird discount available?
No, you can expect to probably hear back sooner from the university or hear more positively from the university if your profile is on the borderline. You could probably applying sooner is recommended in that aspect, but fees wise it would remain the same, and scholarship wise.
Yeah,
Oh,
thanks for answering that, Kanishki. Now, with us, I just mentioned we have bursaries up to £4,000. So we have a great bursary scheme. Hope the viewers are listening to me. We have great bursaries with us of as flat as up to £4,000 to our foundation and master students, please.
okay. So the next question is if a student has 4.5 band in one module, but in the rest 5.5, will he or she will be enrolled for 4 term or 3 term program?
Yes, I think I should take up this question because University of Southampton has higher English requirements. So that would be 4 terms because that's what our requirements are. And just to be on the same page, let me just check. Yes, so 5 with no elements less than 5 are 3 term requirements for foundation and exactly the same for pre-masters 3 terms. So if a student has lower than 5 with no elements less than 5, then yes, we can still offer a 4 terms uh, foundation program to the pre-master programs to students. How much gap is acceptable? Good question. I mean, again, I included that in the presentation. Students should have passed at least in the year 2018 to make it to the January 2022. So we won't accept more than 3 years of gap potentially. So students should have passed 2018, whether their schooling years or their bachelor years. Manish, if you have anything to say about University of Southampton on gaps
Yes.
accepted.
Yes, so without experience, we only accept gap up to 2 years. Also, even though you don't have work experience, you would have to justify why you have taken those 2 gaps. So you cannot not provide a reason and accept the university to accept your profile. They will come back to you and ask you about what you were doing for the 2 years. You could be traveling, there could be some kind of medical emergency, you could have taken up courses in the meantime, etc., etc. That's all right, but you will have to justify it. After 2 years, we won't be able to accept directly at Southampton.
Okay. So the next is if student pays full fee, is there is any discounts available?
Not for Southampton again. I just feel like I'm disappointing students right now.
Yeah, so
Um,
sorry, please go on.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say that if you pay the fees with us at once, we don't offer any kind of scholarships. But if you are a merit-based student, then you can get one of the general scholarships that we provide.
Whether full fee or no full fee, I just said we have great bursaries to offer. That's up to 4,000 pounds. So my answer remains the same as before.
Right.
Okay. So the next question is, I think, already been answered, but how much gap is acceptable with work experience?
Uh,
Okay, I'll just clear this one small thing. If you have experience, then you can justify how many years gap there is. You can come on campus, but sorry, Southampton. But it has to be justified. Now, if you have experience, say, in a certain department or a certain field, and then you apply for a different master's and expect to be taken on, then they will have to see what relevancy you have to the background. So there are certain things like this that will have to be checked by the faculty. If you go for our business programs, MBA programs, that's not as much of an issue, but it's still something that you need to justify basically. For our bachelors, again, you could probably go on if you have experience after your 12th, but that seems highly unlikely. So then in that case, you might have applied to us with gap without experience, and in that case, only 2 years, as mentioned before.
Okay. And the next question, integrated CAS is available while applying for bachelor's. So is it available?
So the answer is no. The answer is no. We don't have an integrated CAS, but again, the viewers must understand an important point over here. ICAS for me would be of least importance if I have a dream to study at a university like University of Southampton. I mean, I would put all that aside to get into this dream university, and this university could change my life in terms of my career. Having ICAS or not having ICAS to a university like University of Southampton, I think as a student is not relevant to me. I'm not trying to ignore this question, but let me also share a fact with you. The students who would start in November with us and in January, we don't have integrated CAS, but they can extend their visas for the main program at the University of Southampton onshore. They're in the UK, so no problem. If you have passed the foundation successfully or pre-masters, extend your visas from the UK. One. Second, sometimes students do ask, I also have a wish just for my experience. Can I do some sort of a part-time job? Obviously, we would like you to focus only on studies. That's the basic element that drives you to go to the UK. But yes, even if it's not an ICAS and you are on a standalone CAS, that's the opposite of ICAS, you could still work for 10 hours. And those 10 hours basically are just to gain some experience before you get into the university. But yeah, ICAS, no ICAS, the university like University of Southampton, if I am the student, it's not going to make any difference to my life.
Okay, so the next one, is any credibility interview? If yes, then what questions can be asked?
Vanishti, would you like to take that up first?
Yeah, I'll just let them know that no, we don't have credibility interviews. If you've had a visa rejection in the past, then probably to understand the reasoning, etc., the visa team might get in touch with you about it. But generally, for students, who have seamlessly met the entry requirements and given the proper documents for their applications, we would not require to take a credibility interview.
Yeah, that's a very important question for us because we have credibility interview and we conduct credibility interview. Now, let me try to explain this with more clarity. Just discussed a few minutes back that Punjab and Haryana recruitments have been put on hold. That's a temporary suspension. Having said that, if we recruit anyone from Gujarat, irrespective of how many gap years the student has, and we only accepted 3 years, all students from Gujarat will be interviewed, point number one. Point number two, any region outside Gujarat, we waive off credibility interviews till the time the student has 2 years of gap. So there is a lot of relaxation for India students. They're from any region outside, obviously Punjab, Haryana, and Gujarat, and if have gaps till 2 years or less than 2 years, no credibility interview. But if you are in that bracket of credibility interview, just to explain, we give students two opportunities on interviews. And if the student performs extremely well during the first interview, we won't ever ask for a second interview. If a student doesn't perform well in the first interview, we would definitely extend a second interview opportunity to the student.
Okay, so next question is there any courses with placement?
Yes. So if you were paying attention to my slide, I talked a little extensively about Year in Industry. It is one of the programs, or say the opportunities that Southampton provides, that we are very proud of, because our students have been very successful in grabbing one of the most coveted positions when it comes to internships and placements. And the thing is that we offer it across all our programs, be it in the faculty of engineering and physical sciences, be it in the field of humanities and arts, be it in the field of business school, social sciences. We have placement available for our archaeology programs. So there is something for students who have any kind of interest. They can definitely, avail our placement year courses.
Yes, I would just like to reinforce that point. If I think about placement courses, University of Southampton should come to my mind first. And Kanishti, please correct me if I'm incorrect, but the university is like renowned for placement years, whether it's UG and PG programs. So that's one of the universities that would come straight to my mind if we talk about placement years in the UK. And yes, and also please correct me, Kanishti, but students doing placement years also earn good for themselves, and that really helps students along with the experience that they get in the UK. So yes, if you think placement years, think University of Southampton, please.
Okay, so we are done with all of the questions. You have answered each and every questions. So we thank you Pranesh ji, for the session. Today we had a very informative and a wonderful session. And we will now close the session for today. And thank you Pranesh ji, thank you Pranesh for joining us.
Before you close, Jyoti, our big thanks to University of Southampton being a part of the webinar.
Thank you.
Big thanks to
Thank
you and to Uni Experts for arranging this. And one last thing, go University of Southampton and go on to Southampton.
Sure.
And yes, if there are students who are willing to apply at on campus Southampton, Uni Experts will be the first choice, please.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pranesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Thank you so much, Pranesh, for arranging this, and Jyoti for having us. It has been a really good experience.
Thank you so much.
Just take care. Okay, bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.